Hello students, welcome back to Trendy Achievers channel. The 10th class students who are preparing for summative exams, this video is very useful for them in the preparation of biology. So here through this video I am going to explain 4 important concepts. So as you are appearing for the first time summative exams, um, these 4 concepts helps you a lot. They are important experiments, important diagrams, what to be prepared, and what are the mechanisms like what are the metabolic mechanisms, expected questions in final exam as well as summative, and then how to present answer scripts, answers in the exam. Okay, these are the 4 concepts I am going to explain now. And మీరు కనుక ఇంకా మా ఛానల్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయకపోతే ఫస్ట్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, లైక్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. Okay students, let us enter into the concept. So first concept in this video is the experiments. So important experiments for summative, how many chapters you have? There are 5 chapters for summative biology exam. Okay, in these 5 chapters, mostly the experiments are present in first 2 chapters. That too in the first chapter, nutrition, there are number of experiments. So that experiments are very important and useful also. So that experiments, first 2 chapters we can expect one essay question. So that expected experiments from the first 5 chapters are, so here from the first chapter, so this is the presence of starch. This is from first chapter. So here are experiments, how to present experiments, experimental answer in the exam. So what are the things we should write? First, aim, then apparatus or material required, and then procedure, diagram, and then observation, precaution if any. So finally the result. Okay, this is the pattern to present your answer in the exam. Then what are the experiments? Starch. So what are the material required? What is the aim? What are the apparatus and then procedure, as well as diagram, observation, precautions and results you should write. So air is an important for photosynthesis or Priestley's experiment, that is what? Mint experiment, mint plant and rat experiment, or it is also called as Bell-Jar experiment. Okay students, so you should be clear here. They are not asking any CO2, not O2. Air, how will you prove that air is an important for photosynthesis, or Bell-Jar experiment directly they may ask, or Priestley's experiments they may ask. So for all these you should write Bell-Jar experiment. Inka enti Mohs half-life, it is used to prove that CO2 is an important factor for photosynthesis. And here starch, it is what? This is the product. How will you prove that starch is producing during photosynthesis? But it is reactant, so that CO2, how will you prove that CO2 is important for photosynthesis? Next, hydrogen, oxygen. How will you prove that oxygen is evolving during photosynthesis? అంటే photosynthesis జరిగిన తర్వాత ఆక్సిజన్ వస్తుంది, ప్రొడ్యూస్ అవుతుంది అని ఎలా ప్రూవ్ చేస్తాం? విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ హైడ్రిల్లా ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్. ఆక్సిజన్ ప్రూవింగ్ ఆర్ హైడ్రిల్లా ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్, both are same. Next is the sunlight. How will you prove that sunlight is an important factor for photosynthesis? That is black pepper experiment. Okay students, black pepper experiment anna, sunlight, how will you prove that sunlight is an important factor for photosynthesis anna? Okay, experiment. Next, up to this first chapter experiments. Okay students, first chapter concept is to explain about nutrition as well as nutrition in plants, organisms and human beings. So this is up to plants. How will you prove that the nutrition that occurs in the plants? With the help of these are the experiments. Okay students, now let us move on with the second chapter. Second chapter name is respiration. In that respiration, how will you prove that CO2 is evolved in respiration? So how will you prove that CO2 it is producing during respiration, and heat is evolved during, so this experiment, CO2 evolved experiment, here we should do this experiment with a sprout summer with the lime water. Okay, chemicals are very important. What we are using, what are the chance of reasoning questions to be asked, that we should be careful. Next, how will you prove that heat is liberating during photosynthesis? That means Here the same sprouts which we have used to prove that CO2, same sprouts we can use for this experiment also. That is a flask, thermometer with a flask experiment. Next, testing CO2 in the presence of exhale air. So how will you prove that? With the help of lime water. Next, heat and CO2 under anaerobic condition. So this is the yeast experiment. So under anaerobic condition, or under the absence of oxygen, yeast produces heat and CO2. We will prove that with the help of many chemicals like a glucose solution, Janus green B, bicarbonate. There are many chemicals. So that is also one more reasoning question. How will you prove that? The absence of presence of oxygen in the yeast experiment. So with the help of diazine green, that is the chemical. So these are the experimental part of view.